Hey kids, are you feeling all bubbly and positive and excited about the future of our world? Yeah! Well, Christopher Nolan wants to cure you of all that. Now, if that doesn't tempt you to watch the rest of this episode, I don't know what will. I give you Oppenheimer.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Hey there, my movie maniacs, my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Come on in, crash on the couch, ease your mind. It's time to relax and listen to me about a little movie called Oppenheimer. Yep, that's right. You come to the right place. And first off, I am just going to go through just a synopsis, just a little bit of the synopsis.
Let's go, I'm bored, let's go.
I'm not going to give away the whole movie. Come on. That's not until this Thursday night on my spoiler warning show. No. This show is spoiler free, all right? And so I'm sure, as you've heard, unless you've been on Pluto, that this movie is all about J. Robert Oppenheimer, or Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, as he's titled. And Christopher Nolan has said that he just finds this story of J. Robert Oppenheimer just fascinating. And he's right. He's right. You're going to watch this movie and you're going to agree with it. His story is intriguing. It's you can't help it. I mean, this is the guy that invented the device, or help invent the device that pretty much can just end the whole world. Okay. And so that is just a very compelling story. And essentially that's what Oppenheimer is all about. But it starts out with Oppenheimer's early years. He went to Harvard first, and then he went to Cambridge, then he went to some school in Germany. And it just goes through all those years. And he's meeting all these various people. And now, it being a Christopher Nolan film, it's kind of hard to go through the synopsis in order because, as you know, in your typical Nolan film, it is not a linear timeline. He hops and jumps all over the timeline, all over. I mean,
Pardon me?
1 minute you're in present day, and the next minute you're 20 years ago, then you're 10 years in the future. You know, it's just all over the place, right? And it works. I mean, he's a skilled enough filmmaker to make that work. But all that to say is, yeah, it's not going to be point A to point B to point C in a Nolan film. But in essence, the movie starts off with the early years, okay? And then it does kind of pop back and forth between present day and the future and that kind of thing. And then he gets to the point where he's meeting some big players in the scientific community, like Niels Bohr. He meets Albert Einstein, and he gets closer and closer to the Manhattan Project. And eventually, obviously, World War II is cooking, right? It's moving right along. It gets to a point where, all right, we need something to end this war, to bring our boys back home, right? And there's whispers, rumors, and that kind of thing of Nazi Germany, and they are creating their own mega weapon, a weapon of mass destruction, right? Whatever it is. Because at this point, they don't know if it's atomic or hydrogen as far as, the type of weapon of mass destruction it is. I mean, basically, they don't know if it's an A-bomb or an H-bomb, right? And so, yeah, this Oppenheimer movie just goes through all the years with J. Robert Oppenheimer, all his colleagues working in the Manhattan Project, including Matt Damon as General Leslie Groves, who's like the military commander of the Manhattan Project. And then it deals with like the bureaucratic attacks on Oppenheimer after the atomic bomb and all that, and the attacks on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, all that. So that's all I'm going to go over with the synopsis. I mean, watch the movie. I'll say that right off the right from the jump. This is a movie you definitely need to go see. But I think this movie could have taken a clue from another dialogue-heavy movie that did the whole dialogue-heavy, the very talky movie thing more efficiently. And that movie is Michael Mann's The Insider. Now, The Insider, it was another movie where people are constantly talking to each other in rooms, okay? And that's what most of Oppenheimer is, to be quite frank. But Michael Mann just did something in The Insider that gave people talking in rooms some pop, okay? It just kept it going along. I don't know if it was like his shot framing or the music or just the electric performances of Al Pacino and Russell Crowe. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, but we're going to get moving on further into this review, spoiler-free review of Oppenheimer. But really quickly, just if you would follow or subscribe to this channel, okay? And then hit that like button right on down there. It's like the thumbs up button, okay? And if you would do me a solid, it doesn't cost you any money, okay? Doesn't cost you any money, and it takes you like 1 second to do it, okay? So yeah, if you would do me solid, I would appreciate it. Okay, let's move on with more Oppenheimer. Some very deep things get explored in this. I think the movie is partly commentary about how people just blindly and too easily adhere to the scientific and political narrative of the day. For example, just blindly going out there and just getting the experimental COVID vaccine and the other COVID protocols, masking up, that kind of thing. I mean, how much footage did you see of like people that weren't wearing a mask in a grocery store, like getting attacked by people who were wearing a mask? Like,
You're not holding it circles. Good job. Put it on. There you go.
kind of like that kind of blind rage, that kneeling to the altar of something, right? Supporting, sending billions to Ukraine, with, instead of spending it here domestically, okay? The Red Scare in the early 20th century, back in like 1919, 1920, those years, big one. Anti-Semitism, Jew hate back in 1930s Germany that led to the Holocaust, right? So those are prevailing popular narratives of the day that turn out to be very, very destructive, but people just are so quick to become lemmings and just jump right on board with these things, okay? Because most people look around and, oh, my friend Sally is into it. Oh, my friend Dave is into it. Oh, my cousin just told me that I should be into it. I'm just gonna like just mix in with everybody else. I'm just gonna join the lemming herd. So this movie is partly a commentary on that, to not be just another minion that does that, right? It's all about the I'm all about the current thing attitude that we see all too often, right? So it's people like putting various flags in their bios or black squares on Instagram. I just got to be part of the current thing, FOMO, that kind of thing. And also, this movie looks down on what it portrays as overly enthusiastic, bloodthirsty patriotism in celebration of all that, such as like when the people were celebrating when we dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, as shown in this movie. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have been happy that happened and then our boys were coming home. World War II was ending and Japan was surrendering. I'm not saying they shouldn't be happy about that, but I think what Nolan is saying is try to kind of curb it a little bit, like temper your celebration a little bit.
Hey, everybody, simple down now.
Because at the end of the day, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people just got killed, okay, from this. So, maybe be cognizant of that as you're celebrating. That's just Nolan's take on that, as you'll see in this movie here. And those are just a few things that'll keep Oppenheimer in your head for a while. Now, this show is spoiler-free, But the show coming up this Thursday night, Movies Merica, spoiler warning, definitely will not be spoiler free. Okay, I'm going to spoil you rotten on this Thursday night during the Movies Merica spoiler warning show. And that's just a show where you get a chance to join me on YouTube or Rumble, and you can live chat with me all about, this week, Oppenheimer, okay? You can live chat comments to me, questions, whatever you want, during the live chat. If there's like a scene that you really want me to talk about, or you want to ask me a question about what I thought about some part of Oppenheimer or something like that, this is your chance. And that all goes down at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And so that would be 6 Central and 5 Mountain. And that's this Thursday night. And that's on YouTube or Rumble. Now, the easiest way to join is if you just go to my Twitter page at Movies Merica on Thursday. And on that page, on my page on Twitter, you'll see links, one for Rumble, one for YouTube. Just click on that and join me again at those times that I mentioned before. Or you can get on YouTube or Rumble and search for Movies Merica. Now, YouTube, because YouTube is stupid, when you try to search for Movies Merica in YouTube, it thinks you're searching for Movies America. No. What you have to do is right below where you typed in Movies Merica, there's a blurb that says search instead for Movies Merica. Click that, and that'll shake YouTube's brain awake, and it'll actually search for what you typed in, okay? And Rumble, you don't have that problem with Rumble, because Rumble is the cool, hip, happening place to go to, where YouTube is like the nasty, lame house on Halloween that hands you dental floss when you go trick-or-treating. So anyway, but yeah, like I said, you can live chat with me. And again, this week is all going to be all about Oppenheimer. So I hope to see you there. Cillian Murphy is fantastic, as is Matt Damon and Robert Downey Jr. And then Gary Oldman, he has a memorable brief scene as Harry Truman. Now, Christopher Nolan, he told Murphy that he needs to think of Oppenheimer's moral journey through all this time as Oppenheimer dancing between the raindrops. And you can definitely see that in Murphy's performance, who also repeatedly makes like this wide-eyed facial expression as if Oppenheimer's brain is about to explode from all the things he has to think about during this tumultuous time, right? And he does also like the various hands on the hips pose that you see Oppenheimer do if you watch like old footage of Oppenheimer or old photos and that kind of thing. He just always has his hands on his hips, in some point. And if Cillian Murphy does not get nominated for an Oscar, what a total travesty, okay? Complete injustice. And it makes Oscars, even more lame than they already could be. I mean, just when you think that, Oscars can't get any more lame than they already are and any more irrelevant, if they snub Cillian Murphy,
Bye-bye. 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 You are bye-bye. Bye-bye.
they're going to be even that much more irrelevant. Now, Matt Damon, he is the blustery, no-nonsense, commanding, secretly academic General Leslie Groves, who was the top military dog of the Manhattan Project. I believe he actually also built the Pentagon, and so because the military liked what he did there, they said, hey, you know what, we're going to have you head up this Manhattan Project. And Matt Damon, he just gets some great lines in this movie, one of which you see in the trailers for Oppenheimer, where he's like, 0 would be nice. And that's just one of the great lines from Matt Damon in this. And then Robert Downey Jr. is about as far from Tony Stark in this as you can get. I mean, he's balding, effeminate, weaselly, although he is still a massive egomaniac in this, just like Tony Stark was. Now, he essentially plays Oppenheimer's nemesis, Louis Strauss, who feels like he's been slighted by Oppenheimer multiple times, and he probably is right. Maybe Oppenheimer, he's portrayed like Oppenheimer didn't mean to slight him. It's just that's just the way things went down, right? And so Robert Downey Jr. as Louis Strauss is basically the personification of what we call the deep state today. Devious, backstabbing, two-faced, Washington, D.C. Another fascinating and frustrating and potentially world-ending question this movie hauntingly asks is, create the bomb or do not create the bomb? Or as Oppenheimer called it, a gadget. He wanted them to call it a gadget at Los Alamos. Now, Germany and Russia were also trying to create nuclear weapons. Distrust between nations was the foundation of their ambition to build nuclear weapons. The governments all sharing their atomic knowledge with each other. It sounds great, but distrust would remain, and the assumption that the other country perhaps isn't revealing everything that they're doing would be a thing. I mean, how do you know a country isn't building a weapon of mass destruction in secret with nefarious intentions, even though they're acting like they're sharing all their knowledge? Okay, you can't be assured of that. Some might find it easy to say, you know what, the bomb just should have never been invented by the U.S. However, what do those same people say when you tell them other countries are trying to build a bomb? And do you want them to have a bomb and you go without? I mean, are you supposed to just make your country a sitting duck because you don't have a nuclear weapon, you don't have a nuclear bomb? I mean, Germany never ended up building a bomb. They just couldn't get it done, and they still actually never have to this day. But Russia sure did, as we all know. And now, would you want Russia to have all the leverage, and then a bombless U.S. would just be at their command the whole time? No, you don't want that, right? You don't want that specter of Russia being able to just press a button and vaporize your country if, when they tell you to jump, you don't ask how high. Who wants that, right?
You tell me.
So Oppenheimer is just one of those provocative movies that is going to make you ask those kind of questions and think about those kind of topics. Well, now that I've got you all depressed from all this Oppenheimer talk, let me ask you to subscribe or follow this channel and like this video if you would. Okay, just got to hit that like button down there. It takes you like 1 second, okay? And then hit that notification bell, which also takes you just 1 second, to get notifications every single time there is a hot, new, sizzling, delicious new episode of Movies Merica just for you, okay? And then also get down in the comments down below as well. And, comment. Comment about something you like or you don't like about this episode, some tips you think that would benefit me, something you want me to do better, a movie that you want me to review, anything that comes to your mind, okay? And then also visit tdpn.locals.com. That's our website where we have our videos and blogs and articles all about movies, entertainment, cocktail recipes, hot button issues of the day, politics, all that stuff at tdpn.locals.com. TDPN as in Till Death Podcast Network. And you may be saying to yourself, hey, Van, there's plenty of websites, places I could go for stuff like that. Yeah, but not the way we put it out there, man. Okay, not the way. Okay, this is unique. You won't get it like this anywhere else, okay? And right now, if you go to tdpn.locals.com and put in promo code TDPN, you're gonna get a month free, okay? And then it's just $3 a month minimum. After that, easy. That's like a box of Twinkies. That's easy, okay? So very, very cheap, okay? And then also, click on the Bannies link down in the description right there. And the Bannies is our upcoming award show that we're going to have. And when you click on that, it lets you vote in 6 categories in which we're going to award a winner in each of those 6 categories for our Bannies award show. So we have categories like the most banned TV movie celebrity, the biggest dingus out there. Dingus is what we call like your biggest idiot, your biggest moron on the internet, that kind of thing. So great categories like that you can vote in if you click on that Bannies link down in the description. It takes like a minute to vote, and it's fun. It's a good time. All right? Well, let's get on with the show. I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe it. But this movie didn't have to have the Florence Pugh nude scenes, and thus the movie could have been PG-13 and gotten bigger audiences. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm your typical red-blooded heterosexual male.
Erroneous! Erroneous!
Who has zero, let me repeat, zero problem with seeing beautiful naked women in movies, okay? Trust me on that. 9.9 out of 10 times, not only do I prefer it, I demand it.
Right.
However, it wasn't needed in this movie. I'm not going to go see a movie about a theoretical physicist for its erotic qualities, okay? So you could have cut that scene or those couple of scenes out of the movie to enable more people to go see Oppenheimer at the theaters. And, of course, make bigger bank at the box office, all right? I mean, and isn't that what it's all about, right? Okay? Now, this movie fits in with that small number of movies where if they just cut out one or two scenes, they could have went from an R rating to PG-13. One such example is, of course, Planes, Trains, and automobiles, I should say. You know, that famous rental car scene where Steve Martin is dropping all the F-bombs. If they would have just cut that one scene, that movie could have been PG-13. I know. I want to kick my own ass right now. Trust me, all right? Here's my man card. That intro don't lie. It is brew review time. And let me get right to showing you this episode's Lucky Brew. We've got a little Gentleman's Relish from Lone Pine Brewery in Magnolia, Texas. Yes. And what we have here is like an English brown ale. And it's got 6.2% alcohol by volume. And it's got a little bit more kick than your average beer. Definitely more than your tranny fluid Bud Light from Anheuser-Busch or any of those dopey, no imagination beers that, you can pick up, everywhere, including the back of a pickup truck, okay? But Gentleman's Relish is something special because it's got this slight cocoa flavor accompanied with a little caramel flavor that also has a slight bitterness to it. And it also has like a little malty aroma to it. I mean, this is a great cigar beer. If you're firing up a Monte Cristo or something like that, a Cubano. Yeah, anyway, a cigar of any type that you want, okay? This is a great cigar beer to go along with that, okay? And hey, what? Instead of me yapping about it again, let me grab a drink. Oh, a little Gentleman's Relish. Sweet Jesus. Yes. All right. So yeah, that's Gentleman's Relish. Let me make sure that you can actually see that. Okay. Gentleman's Relish from Lone Pine Brewing in Magnolia, Texas. Okay. Hey, let's move on with the show. That's been Brew Review time. Is this movie a woke after-school special? This movie drops a bomb on woke. 2, in fact. So, no, it is not woke whatsoever. Or at least there wasn't any woke that was noticeable enough for me to catch it. The closest thing to woke I saw was that there are communist sympathizers in this movie, but that doesn't fit the definition of woke. I mean, those are just characters who have political differences in this movie. And the Manhattan Project and the military did, in fact, have to worry about communist spies infiltrating the Manhattan Project. So, a tip of the cap to Christopher Nolan. 3 whole hours, and he didn't weasel any woke in here anywhere. All right, I've put you guys through the ringer here with this Oppenheimer review. And so, you should be rewarded. And I'm going to reward you by telling you all about Nature Clear Recovery Powder. That's a product that you can take to help you avoid a hangover if you like to go out there and have a good time, and who doesn't, right? And Nature Clear Recovery Powder comes in these handy little packets. All you got to do is just pour this in in 12 ounces of water, basically your typical bottle of water. Pour it in there, and if you want to throw like some lemonade Mio in there to make it tastier, by all means. But yeah, just take this before you go out and you hit the nightclub. You want to shake your booty or hit the beer patio, and you don't have to worry about a hangover, okay? But hey, no worries if you forget to take it before you go out, because all you have to do is just take it when you get home, before you go to bed, okay? And you don't have to worry about a hangover there either. So Nature Clear Recovery Powder, they know what they're doing, okay? And it helps you recover also from smoking and vaping, okay? So this is the all-around Swiss Army knife of recovery. So what you need to do is you need to click on the Nature Clear link in the description below, okay? And choose whatever Nature Clear products you want. Get them in the cart, and then in the promo code field in the cart, just put in promo code MOVIES, okay? And you're going to get up to 25% off your next Nature Clear order, okay? Let the good times roll, okay? Don't let them get spoiled by a hangover. Nature Clear Recovery Powder is your friend. Do it. The dynamic between Oppenheimer and Louis Strauss is interesting. I mean, these are learned, accomplished men. I mean, through all the degrees, the equations, the formulas, the titles, they still essentially just have this decades-long high school girl-style rift. Of course, it's more subtle because they're adults, Their relationship being contentious is revealed at the very end of the movie to be born of just some stupid, simple misunderstanding in their early days of basically when they first met. Now, I thought it was compelling to see on-screen characterizations of Albert Einstein by Tom Conti and then Niels Bohr by Kenneth Branagh. Tom Conti, he was in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight Rises, and then Branagh, of course, was in Dunkirk and Tenet. Also, the interaction and the portrayal of the community between scientists and scientists and physicists and other great minds, I thought that was really captivating, very interesting to just kind of see how this community of all these scientists and physicists and all that all worked together and knew each other worldwide and that kind of thing. Also, I have to mention the rest of the impressive cast that I haven't even mentioned so far. I mean, we got Emily Blunt, Jason Clarke, Josh Hartnett, Matthew Modine, Jack Quaid, Tony Goldwyn, Benny Safdie, Rami Malek, Olivia Thirlby, James Remar, Casey Affleck. Surprisingly, no Michael Caine, I think, for the first time in a Christopher Nolan movie in quite a while. I mean, there's kilotons more actors that I could mention, but I don't want to keep you here till Christmas. Actors, they just simply want to work with Christopher Nolan. Yeah! And judging by the measly, by today's standards for a big budget movie like this of $100 million, the actors definitely agreed to a pay cut, I should say. It's good. It's just good to see artists care more about the craft than getting their bag. Well, I wouldn't be me if I didn't try to sneak in another opportunity to ask you to follow or subscribe to this channel right here and then hit that like button down there, the thumbs up button, while you're there anyway. It just takes you 1 second, okay? And then also hit that groovy notification bell so that you get notifications every single time there is a brand new, hot, sizzling, tasty episode of Movies Merica just for you, okay? And then also get in the comments down below. Comment to your heart's content, okay? And then also get to tdpn.locals.com, our website with all our great content there, okay? And right now, if you go there and put in promo code TDPN, you get a free month. Pretty groovy, huh? Pretty awesome. And then also, last but not least, click on that Bannies link, the Bannies link down there for our Bannies award show that will be coming up here pretty soon. But you click on a link to vote in the 6 categories that we'll be awarding somebody for there. And it just takes you a minute. It takes you a minute to go in there and just vote for each of the 6 categories. It'll just take you a minute, and it's fun. Okay, we got categories like the most canceled TV movie personality, the most canceled or banned sports personality, those kind of categories right there. So yeah, just get on down there, click that Banny's description, take about a minute to do it, and it's good. It's a good time. It's fun. All right, on with the show. Well, once again, I have to steal from the late, great Jerry Springer, more specifically his final thoughts segment that he did at the end of every episode. And my final thought about Oppenheimer is, well, first off, go see this movie. You really got to go see it. But my final thought is that there is one word that keeps rolling around in my brain about this movie, and that one word is haunting. I think partly it's haunting just because of the borderline sinister nature of the path that we see Oppenheimer's life go down before the Manhattan Project and the bomb, and then also, of course, during the project, and then the onslaught of attacks towards him by the bureaucratic attack dogs, and then how all of that takes place with the specter of death and destruction hanging around in the background. Now, the main reason for me this movie is haunting is because this movie obviously is about the birth of the nuclear threat that we still all live with in the background as we go about our daily lives. I mean, to be honest, we currently have weapons that see to it that you could be walking in the park 1 minute and then a microsecond later, you are vaporized into ash. Or worse, you don't die right away. Okay, everybody, have a nice day. And with that, everybody, remember, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got a popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right, thanks for watching.